They say Italy can't solve all your problems, but if it can solve one or two big ones, would that change your life? I'm about to find out. For years, when my sons went to their dad's house for a month in the summer, I shut out the 118-degree Arizona heat, worked remotely, and didn't leave the house. Groceries and food were delivered, curtains drawn. I made a little cave. Anything I could do to keep out the heat and the sun. Nobody scheduled that depression for me. I built it myself, one DoorDash delivery at a time. It was a very efficient way to disappear for a month without anyone even noticing that I'd left. Then one year I did the math. The money I was spending to not leave my house would cover a month in Italy. So I went. I explored by day and worked by night, actually living instead of quietly rotting while my kids were somewhere else, being totally fine without me. When I came back, I started to track time differently. That thing happened 2 Italy trips ago. Or, oh yeah, that was the summer that I learned the hard way not to order cappuccino after 11 a.m. This year, my younger son, my baby child, expressed interest in joining. I was emphatically encouraging that. Traveling alone for a month is freeing, but it's also lonely. And I'd been doing it long enough to know that freedom and loneliness are often just roommates. Traveling is different than regular life. It tests you. You have to be a team. Having him there meant I couldn't disappear the way I usually do, even in Italy. It also meant I had to sit with some of the things that I had gotten very, very good at not sitting with. The old trauma, the self-sabotage, the parts of me that only show up around the people I love most. That's the trade-off of family, I think. The people who matter most usually get the worst of you because they're the only ones who stick around long enough to see it. So now we get to see what happens when you take a teenager who tolerates you, a childhood that you never fully unpacked, and a month in a country that doesn't care about either, and try to outrun the part of yourself that likes to sabotage the good things before that's all your kids remember. And for me, the pressure is on. It's his last year of high school, and it isn't unheard of to move away for college and never come back home because they started a family of their own. Nobody warns you about the whiplash of motherhood. You spend the early years fused to this small, breakable person, losing actual sleep over the idea that they might touch the wrong thing on a playground and just... You are, for a solid decade, their entire nervous system on legs. And then, with no transition period whatsoever, you become the lamest person who has ever lived. Not lame in a forgivable way, lame in an absolute, epically historical way. In the entire recorded history of the species, no one has ever been less cool than you. Specifically, standing in a kitchen, asking if they have a lunch. So, there's a real motivation to get this right, while I still have a right to get with the last of my little family. When I was a child, the word family met a taxonomic rank before it was a relationship. Basil was in the mint family. Almonds and cherries were in the rose family. We had no other relations in the area, and we didn't refer to ourselves as a family. That's not to say we didn't have values. We were raised on dead things and learned lessons from them. Instead of family photos on the mantelpiece, we kept dinosaur bones, arrowheads, fragmented artifacts. The most prominent place of honor in the home reinforced that we were among the dead. And the things that survive don't talk to you with words. My parents were scientists, and scientists, like priests, take a kind of pride in disconnecting their mind from their bodies. Everything my parents were proud of came out of their heads. Digs, a quarter of a dinosaur they found, whole excavated civilization conjured out of sheer intellectual will and a little bit of digging. My mother could move mountains with a well-worded letter. She could also go from calm to nuclear in about 2 seconds flat, and that was the only time emotion surfaced in our house. Not as tenderness, but as an eruption, like the comet that kicked up so much earth it blacked out the sun and killed a whole family of giant lizards. I think it's a fairly natural progression that a kid raised in a house where the mind was sacred and the body was at best unaddressed eventually goes looking for a body to live in. and finds one in all the wrong rooms. Mine took me to some arguably bad places, doing things I still find hard to explain to people who grew up any other way. It wasn't rebellion, not exactly. It was more like a retrieval. I was trying to locate the parts of me that my worldview had no vocabulary for. Everything about Italy seems to be in stark contrast to my world experience. It is all about good feelings. People grab you when they meet you and they kiss you on both cheeks. They invite you in. No matter how hot it is, windows are open in the morning. There doesn't seem to be cave houses like mine in Italy. On the east side of the country is a little city of Recanati, which will be our home base. Recanati is most well known for the poet Giacomo Leopardi. Leopardi was walled in by his father's library. He was a sickly kid buried in Greek and Latin, and instead of running from that the way that I did, he climbed a hill and decided that space is unlimited and not knowing itself was the point. So standing on that hill in Recanati, for the first time in a long time, I wasn't being asked to identify anything, explain anything, or perform anything. I was just being asked to look and let the not knowing be enough. That's a strange kind of relief for a scientist's daughter. Nobody needed me to be smart, soft, strong, or even pretty. I just got to stand there next to my son and not know what was coming next.